welcome to the Inspiring You Show. If we haven't met, I'm Henry. So let's talk about what is happening. The ascension unfolding, flowing with the current of transformation. My friends, we have been experiencing some intense release energy. So, yesterday morning, we got a major full body chakra blast to cap off that release. And yeah, I mean, I really started feeling this energy shift like all day on Sunday. And then today, I mean, it is on. As I was walking my dog earlier, I could feel in my solar plexus like a tightening that is being called to be cleared. And then that tightening is going up towards my heart chakra, my throat chakra. And in my heart chakra and throat chakra, I could just tell there's this like energy that is being called to be clear. This like just old energy that is also, it feels a little bit like tight and also burning, but I don't have any per se like heartburn or like throat burn, but that's kind of what it feels like in a trying to describe the energy that's being called to be cleared. And it's just really old stuck energy. And also it's just, it's connected to, for me in my human experience, it's connected to some elements just from some past experiences I've been in this present life, as well as some past lives, also some generational aspects that's being called to be cleared from my ancestral energy field, that in particular related to the solar plexus. It's clearing up just anything that is blocking moving into that empowered creator in this place that we are now. Also clearing up some, old patterns of just powerlessness and some aspects of the patriarchy. Specifically for me, when I was working in television, and there were elements where, I kind of went through an experience of waking up to realizing that there was oppression and I had to then repress at times. And there was, some inequality that not only I experienced at times, but also saw, and just some really, different elements of the patriarchy. And so, I feel like, my word for today has been, I feel like I'm emerging. I'm emerging in a greater sense than I even understood like last week. And I could tell that something has been shifting because I all of a sudden yesterday, I couldn't, the energies were really intense for me yesterday. And so I couldn't really go on social media per se, but I found myself on threads. And sometimes, you know, written words are, for somebody who's highly aware of energies, written words can be a little bit easier for me to look at. And so anyway, I've never really been on threads before, and maybe like here and there, like a little bit, like when it first came out, and I've made a few posts, but not like on it where I'm, you know, responding and commenting. And yesterday and today, I've just found myself sharing, commenting, and I feel like I'm emerging. I'm emerging from an aspect of cocooning that I had gone into from when I was healing, when I was career transitioning, not only from television into the life that I was going into, but also when I was healing work PTSD. And there has been signs along the way that I've been called for a greater connection in regard to community and things like that. But it's always interesting how things are going to unfold, and where you are in terms of the flow and how it's showing up. So anyway, um, you know, there's things that are clearing, and then what is being called in for transformation, and how is that showing up for you? And so you want to check in not only, in terms of your body, like how is your body feeling? What is it connected to? Is it connected to any, in terms of the chakras, or is it connected to, are any stories, dissolving, or is there anything that's being cleared? And then can you recognize, what you're being called to in terms of your flow, any intuition coming in, any insight? So just check in to see and have some reflection time, because, this month we talked about earlier in the month, it's transformation. So what is being called in terms of you in your cocoon butterflying out? How are you transforming? How are you shifting, from being the caterpillar into the cocoon, into the butterfly, and transforming, what aspect of it? And so, and with that, when you bring that acknowledgement in, that can also support your human on a whole nother level of just bringing in the understanding of like, okay, that's where I am right now. And even as I was walking, when I felt that tightness in my solar plexus, I took a moment to pause with my hand on my stomach and my heart, and to do, to ask that Reiki ascend to those areas. And I took a moment to, take 3 deep breaths, breathing in, because there was a point where I could feel that tightness was so tight that it was constricting. And I was like, I was gasping then for air, and I was like, wow, that has been, in some ways, it might have been just, it might have been stagnant, but it has been there in regard to, you know, playing in the background. And now it's being able to come up to the surface to be cleared. So within all of this, though, my friends, the energy levels have just been high. So, as we navigate the whirlwind of energies around us, it is truly remarkable also how we continue to function and grow, because this period has been intense. And it's essential to honor yourself by also taking moments, taking breaks. Remember that, it is a process. We are here in this humaning experience. We are evolving, growing, learning, and it's okay to take moments to pause and rest. And I've also been observing how these high energies, these high cosmic energies coming in, have been affecting loved ones. And, some of my, friends and loved ones, they're often not accustomed to holding such frequencies. And what's interesting now is, we're having a huge shift that more people are waking up to it. And so you might notice that, your partner or family feeling more like fatigued or emotionally aware, or maybe even, like, you could say emotionally sensitive, whatever language you use. And this isn't a setback per se, rather, they're also rising up and they're learning how to acclimate. And so we've just experienced a really powerful weekend where Ascension Light codes like infused us with energies to fully then embrace the equinox. And then there is the equinox codes. And so these energies opened up our collective consciousness, expanding within us. Kind of like if you were in during the pandemic, or maybe now still, when everybody was making sourdough bread. Y'all, I went on that train. I loved it. I loved doing the sourdough bread. And so it's kind of like, with the rising bread, allowing us to hold more light with each wave that flows in. So the more then that's being cleared in regard to the body, because remember, the body, yes, it's energy, but it's matter. So, right, the more that's being allowed to be cleared in regard to the matter aspect, in terms of the energy being transformed, transmute, that means then more light can be held within it. And so allowing us to hold more light with each wave that flows in, with each cosmic wave that flows in. So you want to just think of it as like, there's just different layers and capacity that we are moving through. And, you may have heard several different people talking about it. It's interesting because I downloaded this and I wrote it out, and I was processing all of it as it was coming through. And then I went on my walk, and as I was walking, I heard like 3 different people talk about like nesting dolls, and that was one of the examples that had come through, was nesting dolls. And I was like, God, that's so like, hello, universe. Um that synchronicity, right? And so you think of the journey as a series of like nesting dolls, where each layer represents a greater capacity for light and love. And like as we like ascend together, individually and then also ascending together in terms of we're in an individual and a collective experience. Our vibrational levels increase, enabling deeper connections, not only with ourselves, but others, our guides, our higher selves, and with a connection with Earth. And then we're all part of this incredible, magnificent, spiral of ascension moving higher every day. And remember, though, everybody has different, levels that they could be on, different spaces. And it's not right, wrong, good or bad. It's the isness. And it's wherever they are, wherever you are, wherever I am, that's all for the highest good. And so right now, though, we are standing on a brink of this incredible milestone. We're nearing a point where even those at low vibrations will easily be able to embrace that, that love energy wave activation that has been coming in and coming in. And it's momental, right? Where as we approach this greater shift, we feel more joy and excitement within the energy. And this love wave is like a warm embrace of light that will support us as we then transition even more into our higher selves. And so our collective journey then is illuminated by that kind of, that wave of light, that path of light. And so as we unite then in the connection of letting ourselves receive that light, being in this energy of the love wave, and then allowing ourselves to also embrace it and anchoring it. And so what this all says is, y'all, we're in transformation and everything is in its place and the energies are ready to allow us to propel forward. And so you want to check in, use your tools, see how you're feeling, see what your human needs, and take care of yourself through it. And just know that, you are a part of something that is incredible, paving the way for a world, in terms of being filled with more love, joy, peace, harmony, and really connecting us to shift even a greater way from the old earth into the new earth. And being shifting also into more of that unity consciousness. And with that, then, we're having a process from, freeing from the constraints of old paradigms, which is what in the beginning of this I was talking about, where when, I could feel my solar plexus really tight, it's because something is called to the surface to clear. It's an old paradigm. It's an old, there's some old aspects that I have been reflecting on the last couple days that are being ready to clear. And it's in connection to not only my solar plexus, my heart chakra, but my throat chakra. And a big part of it is about me stepping into my own light to be able to share in a greater way, and sharing from having the connection from my solar plexus, the empowered aspect, and then relationship to my heart, sharing from the heart, and then being able to voice it with, love, peace, harmony, with ease and grace. And that is something that in the past, I feel like I'm getting a little emotional here, in the past, may have scared me. I may have been scared to share different stories. And what's interesting is that, the last couple days on Threads, I have been sharing various stories from working in television when I had intuitive hits, and it's just been so effortless, and I can tell it's a new way has opened up for me to share. And in some ways, it's also a relief that I'm at this place now. Whoo, y'all. Whew. So be kind to the human because we're in major transformation. And just remember that all of this, you've played a huge role in this transformation. Your light and your willingness to show up have brought us to this point, and your efforts are deeply appreciated. As we continue to rise, let yourself understand that you are a big part of this greater whole. And as we are constantly evolving, experiencing high energies each day, make sure to use your tools, because this past weekend we had an M class solar flare that added to this wave of transformation. And this cosmic activity is here, yes, to support our ascension, but also you may be feeling its effect. So you want to check in to see, embrace the sensations as yes, they are a sign of growth, but also use your tools to support any clearing to make it with more ease and grace for the human. Cause sometimes it can feel uncomfortable. Like when I was walking, that feeling of tightness in my solar plexus did not particularly feel good when I was also like trying to like gasp for some breath because my whole chakra system tightened and it just brought in the realization that that needed to be cleared. And then once I paused to put my hand on my stomach and a hand on my heart to do, and my also throat chakra to do a Reiki clearing, then when it cleared, I was like, whoo, that feels way better. And look, I take a deep breath. I'm going to be doing a dowsing clearing later on it as well. So maybe I will put it up if I'm called to share it. So anyway, with all that though, my friends, so there was an M class solar flare that we received yesterday, and it might have only been one, but it's bringing us to the CME, and it's expected to arrive on Wednesday, the 25th. But as you know, it can arrive, earlier as well. This is literally just the tail end of the CME that will be pushing into the planet, but we're still expecting it to be like a G2 solar storms. So we also had two sunspots as well that released M and X solar flares. You might have also noticed that. You might have sometimes people feel like the itchies from it, like feeling itchy all of a sudden. And you also can notice it in if you have any animals that you care for, they may also have it. I definitely noticed it in my dog, and I did several Reiki sessions for her. So, and I could, I always ask, you always ask no matter who, if it's the animal or if it's a person. And, I asked her if she wanted to receive it, and she said yes. And I could tell it really supported her and brought some relief. Also, there was a proton flux levels have been up all weekend and will continue as well. And so that continued yesterday and continuing causing anywhere from like R1 to R3 radiation storm levels. So if you do energy healing work, just ask for any of that aspects to be cleared, calling in light to integrate for the highest good to support the human in terms of shifting. Also with this, the incoming energies can just trigger various symptoms. And so if you are feeling similar discomfort, you're not alone. This energy can make us more, reactive in some ways, which is why you want to really use your tools, because your human might be feeling like some sort of aggravation, and you might have some sort of a shorter fuse, if you will. And so you want to make sure to use your mindfulness tools and your energy healing tools. The last couple of days of energy work and meditations have really been all about releasing. So I encourage you to let go and ask, like, what is being called to be transformed? And just know you're holding more energy than ever before, and your connection to true self is becoming stronger, your authentic self. Keep shining your light and sharing it with others. You're doing an amazing job. And also, my friends, just let yourself, as you can, be kind, embrace this moment of change and the journey ahead, and use your tools. And also, let's just take a moment right now to take a nice deep breath in and then release. And then, if you wish to receive Reiki, I'm going to ask that Reiki is sent to you for your highest good. Say, yes, I'd like to receive Reiki for the highest good. Thank you. And then take another deep breath and release. And then with that, we always want to delink. So I can ask to delink from this talk, from the Reiki, asking that light fills in for the highest good in gratitude. And so with that, my friends, remind yourself that today is yours to be your empowered creator, to shape, and you can make it great. And allow, even no matter what is happening in the world, you can still tune in and support yourself, and remember that you're an empowered creator, and use your tools, embrace your empowered creator abilities.